Fantastic victory. And for Sampras, you only have to feel real sorrow that he couldn't produce the Sampras that we know. 13 Grand Slams, more than any other man in history. And still, for me, the best player I've ever seen. He's got to remember who he is, what he's done, and put this behind him. It won't be easy for Pete Sampras.
Kiss from his girlfriend. A hug from his coach. He looks around, really doesn't know what to say, just to finger up to his supporters. There they are, the Australians. Well, the fuel man here scratching his head, I think we all are.
What can you say? It was a masterful performance. I mean, really brilliant from Hewitt. Sampras wasn't at his best, but I tell you, it wasn't unlike last year's final, where Safin just came out and played his best tennis. And here, Leighton Hewitt played his best tennis, and Sampras just didn't answer the bell. He just didn't have any gas left in the tank, and that's a fitting end, isn't it? He returned so well today, and that return was also a passing shot, so that really encapsulated all that he did well today. Enough to blunt the power of the great Pete Sampras.
I think you have to say of this man that there's nobody more competitive. He believes he can beat anybody deep in his heart. And when he just keeps himself under control, because that's when he gets into trouble, and he just lets his temper come out, loses control, that's when he's vulnerable. But when he just manages to discipline himself, he's a fantastic young player.
Yeah, I think you use a good term there. I think belief is real big for him, because he has that remarkable ability really to concentrate for long periods of time and maintain his level of play. So that's very impressive in someone so young, and it's a championship quality. So I think, Bill, we'll probably see him here again.
I'm sure we will. He's got so much that impresses you, hasn't he? I mean, the guts of the fellow, the fact that he can live with beating people like Curtin down in Brazil. I mean, people don't realize quite what it's like to play a Davis Cup match in South America. Well, Britain soon will. And I mean, that was a performance and a half. This has been, you cannot take anything away by saying Sampras was not well or old or unfit or anything. I reckon if he'd won that first set, he would have won the match. Sampras, whoever did, and he just ran away with it, Hewitt. All credit to him.
The other point is that, you know, to win any Grand Slam, it's not just one match or a couple of matches. It's to come through for 2 weeks, match after match. Problems, difficulties, excitements, disappointments, and in this place especially, and especially this year, all the razzmatazz and the ballyhoo, you somehow got to keep your mind tight and concentration up. He went through 2 or 3 days of real turbulence after his match against James Blake, where he was accused afterwards, though he always denies it, and was found to be not guilty, or certainly not proven. He was accused of making a racist remark in that. He got an awful press for that, but he's come through that. He's steadied himself, he's disciplined himself, he's had wise people around him. John Fitzgerald, Wally Mazur, his own coach, and it's a magnificent effort by him.
Well, I feel a little bit for Pete Sampras. You know, really this was his 4th final this week. You know, he had to play 3 finals to get to the final, and emotionally just had nothing left. So this was something difficult for Sampras. One more mountain to climb, but I think in some way you saw his level slip just a little bit in his last match and just a little bit more today. But again, Hewitt was just too good on the day, and winning a Grand Slam is all about 2 weeks, and it's just not one day. No matter what happened before, it's still all about performing again today.
Leith, there's talk about Pete Sampras and possible retirement. I would hate to think that he's going out on that particular performance. But if he does, he does.
He's not talking about retirement, is he?
Well, the words being spoken about it, him, Rafter. You know, he's only 30. He's also spoken about going on for another 5 years. He felt so wonderful after his winning matches in those 3 preceding matches to this. I feel like going on for another 5 years. I wonder if he does right now. You
know what I think about one thing about Sampras? He hasn't won a tournament since Wimbledon last year. In the locker room, Sampras has lost his invincibility. Whatever else he's lost that. Down on court, they've got the flags ready, and the presentation party are down there. Just de-wit it, Hewitt. Must be Australian. Just do it, isn't it? Right. So what about, just while we're looking for that, what do you think about this, the matter of his invincibility? He was, people thought you couldn't beat Sampras, not on a surface where he could play well.
Well, I think he may have lost that a couple of years ago, yet he still was invincible on grass, but even now that veneer has begun to crack. So, you know, yes, as you get older, you do become a little more vulnerable, and I don't think he has the same motivation at 30 that he does at 23. And that's not to say he can't produce moments, but certainly he just did not produce enough moments this week. He had 3 good ones against Rafter, against Agassi, and it was just, again, just not enough.
Anybody can go through 86 games and not be broken, which he did coming into this match, and then get broken consistently by Hewitt, has got to say something about the returning ability of Leighton Hewitt. I mean, he won with some magnificent shots and a whole mass of wonderful shots.
Well, there you are. It's a great time, a memorable time for green and gold, for Kangaroos, and everybody's ready. And down there on court, the new president of the United States Tennis Association, Merv Heller, is ready with Tony Trabert, former champion, great former champion. And once American television have come back from a commercial break, because they're in charge of these situations, we waited for them at the start while they were busy. This is CBS, that is, covering the New York Jets against the Indianapolis Colts.
How about a wonderful round of applause for these 2 great champions?
And this is Tony Trabert.
Incidentally, Jerry, a man, Tony Trabert, who won this tournament twice without dropping a set. How about that?
It is now my pleasure to introduce Mr. Merv Heller, President of the United States Tennis Association and Chairman of the U.S. Open. Merv?
Thank you, Tony. On behalf of the USTA, we want to thank the over 640,000 fans that came through the gates the past 2 weeks. A record-breaking crowd. And now it's my pleasure, on behalf of the USTA, to give the runner-up at the 2001 U.S. Open men's singles to a champion of our heart, Pete Sampras.
And the day on court in Munich, when he was described at a presentation ceremony as the greatest player of all time, and he gave that smile that was simply golden. And there was a smile of sadness just for a moment.
Pete, congratulations on a great tournament. It's like you had to play 4 finals in a row. You had to go through Rafter, Agassi, Safin, all former champions here. Now 2 years in a row, you won into a hot 20-year-old in Leighton Hewitt. You played a great match, a great tournament, but he really returned your serve well, didn't he?
He was unbelievable. The kid is so quick. It's unbelievable. Those legs, I wish I had some of those legs with this old guy. But I'd like to thank this crowd for supporting me these past 2 weeks. It's been a lot of fun. But I lost to a great champion. You're going to see this Leighton Hewitt guy for the next 10 years like you saw me. So I like to thank that whole side of the stadium, my wife Bridget, my coach Paul, and everyone for supporting me. It was a good run. Unfortunately, I ran into a young guy that was a little bit too good today.
All right, Pete, thank you very much. Congratulations. It's now my pleasure to introduce Mark Hutchins, the president of Lincoln. Mark?
Thank you, Tony. Well, we've seen it was a very exciting tennis tournament. Exciting tennis played in front of incredible fans. We at Lincoln are so proud to be a sponsor of this great championship. So on behalf of all of our dealers and our employers and our customers and our suppliers, it really is a thrill to again be here and sponsor the men's championships. Tony, very exciting. I'd have to say part of the excitement was generated by the play of this guy, Pete Sampras. You know, Pete, "13 Grand Slams, 4 major U.S. Opens. You are an icon, an American tennis icon. So, Pete, Lincoln is an icon also. So from one icon to another icon, here's a check for $425,000. Congratulations.
And now, Mark, I think you have a check for our champion.
Well, Tony, it takes a great champion to beat a great champion. And Leighton played the best tennis I've seen in a long time. And as Pete said, he's going to be here for a long time. So, Leighton, on behalf of Lincoln, I'd like to present the winner's check, the champion's check, to you for $850,000.
Even he blinked.
Well, Leighton, congratulations on a fabulous tournament, your first Grand Slam title. Tell us how it feels for you.
It's unbelievable. You know, I've dreamt of this moment and being out here and playing in a Grand Slam final, and you know, I really couldn't believe it, and it hasn't sunk in yet. And, you know, I'd like to thank a few people. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out and supporting the tournament over the last 2 weeks. You know, it's been great. I'd like to thank my support crew, my coach Darren Cahill, my girlfriend Kim, my family, friends, Davis Cup coaches and captains. You know, it's been a great 2 weeks, and these guys have believed in me the whole time. And also I'd like to thank all the sponsors. Without the sponsors, these kind of tournaments aren't possible, so thank you.
I think that in the last 13 games that you played, you made 3 unforced errors. That's pretty clean tennis.
Yeah, I don't know what I can say. I got a bit lucky out there. You know, I was seeing the ball well, and I got better with every match that I played over the last 2 weeks. And as I said, you know, it hasn't sunk in, and you know, it's a real dream come true, though. I can say that.
All right, Leighton, congratulations once again. And now, Mr. Merv Heller with a trophy for our champion.
Thank you, Tony. On behalf of the USTA and all the people in this stadium and around the world, it is my pleasure to give the 2001 U.S. Open Men's Singles Champion Trophy to Lleyton Hewitt.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 2001 U.S. Open Men's Singles Champion, Lleyton Hewitt.
Well, there you are. The 4 Grand Slam championships, the traditional big events of the tennis calendar have been concluded. At Wimbledon, just a couple of months ago, it was the moment for a familiar friend who'd been so close before and hadn't been able to make it and finally did. The US Open this year claims a champion from the new generation. Adelaide's come on kid, Lleyton Hewitt.
My thanks to Bill Threlfall and Jerry Williams, Leif Shires for their commentary during the men's final. Lleyton Hewitt claiming his first Grand Slam title. I don't think that's going to be the only one that he's going to win.